Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Hour 2, Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Officially half the work week in the rearview mirror, working towards the weekend on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Morning show, gang. Got one more show to do from the Senior Bowl. They've been there since Monday morning. That, of course, Jake Hester and Matt Flynn. So let's go to Mobile. We got boots on the ground. Matt Flynn's there at Senior Bowl practice. Give us a little bit of time here on this Wednesday. Matt, how are you?
I'm great, buddy. How you doing?
Doing quite well. How's the Senior Bowl from a media perspective for the first time?
Yeah, well, I actually, this is the first time I had an invite to the Senior Bowl, so, fantastic player or media. So it's been good, man. It's been really great. The practices have been a lot of fun. Yesterday, of course, it was a little chilly all day, but it was good practices. Today, we just got out here. The national team right now is getting their warm-ups in, individual work, so watching a little Diego Pavia throw the ball, a little Sawyer Robinson, Cole Payton, watching these guys throw the ball a little bit. Got full pads on for the first time this week for these guys, so I expect a little tackling today, a little popping.
Let's talk LSU, guys. Y'all got a chance to sit down with Garrett Nussmeier yesterday. He told you kind of about the injury and what he was struggling with. What's on the line for him this week, and kind of what have you seen from him early on?
Yeah, I would say that, and this isn't just kind of like the Homer talk a little bit, the LSU talk. This is a lot of buzz from other national media. Drew Fabian is the guy that runs the longtime NFL scout. He runs the Senior Bowl now. They have him kind of eyeballed as one of the guys that has the most to gain from this week. Certainly, not the senior season he wants, but I think that the word is that NFL scouts kind of understand what he was going through. That schematically there was a lot of flaws in what LSU was doing. Certainly dealing with some sort of injury all season that apparently just got diagnosed a month ago. For whatever reason. So we all knew there was something wrong. We all knew there was something up. You can't go from a guy that throws for 4,000 yards and then go to a guy that, is looks like he's playing at 50%. It just doesn't happen that way. So it was good to hear Garrett kind of like talk about that yesterday. And I wanted to make sure, like, when giving him the interview, give him a chance to give him a platform to like say that to people, right? Because we all knew there was something. We just hadn't really heard it yet.
So this is just your opinion. I'm sure he's not going to give you this exactly, but like, how much do you think his injury limited LSU's offense this past year?
You gotta think that it affected it a lot. When you have some sort of abdominal or torso issue, he said it yesterday, he wasn't able to use his abs. Well, I mean, anybody that does some sort of rotational sport, as a golfer, if you can't use your abs, you can't create a lot of power. And then when you can't create your power normally, you try to compensate it other ways. So your mechanics change, your rhythm changes, what you do with your lower body changes, and it just didn't work. So how did it affect it? It had to affect it. Like, you looked at a lot of the stuff that we were complaining about of the percentage of passes that were completed or attempted within 5 yards or behind the line of scrimmage. You got to think it had a lot to do with it when you look back on it.
Let's talk about a couple of the other guys that are there for LSU. Barryon Brown, y'all sat down with this morning. Chris Hilton got the call to go over there. Just like Garrett Nussmeier didn't have a chance to do much this year because of the injury and the scheme. Same thing for those two guys. What can they gain this week?
Yeah, how about that? As bad as our offense was, we got a quarterback and 3 receivers here at the Senior Bowl. Pretty wild. I think everybody has a lot to gain. Aaron Anderson was one of the guys I was most excited about coming into this season, the beginning of the season. I thought he was probably, from what I knew from the LSU guys, not knowing like the transfers coming in this past year, but from what I knew that was returning, I thought he was one of the most NFL-ready guys at his position, which is a slot receiver. I think he's got high football IQ. Did a really nice job at routes on air and one-on-ones yesterday. Didn't get a lot of opportunities, a lot of balls thrown to slot receivers yesterday. It was mainly tight ends and outside receivers. So I'm hoping he gets his chance to show his skills. But him and Barryon Brown, they caught all their punts yesterday. They won the ball on the ground. So it's a good opportunity for all of them. There wasn't any of the wow plays from them yesterday, but that opportunity really wasn't presented to them. So excited to see them today. I see Chris Hilton down here now, so he'll be the only LSU guy on the national team. The other 3 guys are on the American team. So I'm watching him go through some cone drills right now. get in where you can fit in, though, Chris Hilton. Good for you having a good East-West game and getting the invite to come in.
Yeah, it's great for Chris. I hope the best for him. It just never quite clicked in Baton Rouge, but he's still super talented. We saw it in practice for 3 years and just never quite materialized to the field.
Yep.
As far as away from LSU, any player, any schools? I mean, I know Diego Pavia is getting a lot of headlines with his height and he's just a lightning rod. But, like, is there anybody that you're curious to watch from a national perspective that you hadn't gotten eyes on?
Yeah, I mean, there's some freaks here, man. There are some large human beings at this thing, and kids just keep getting bigger and bigger and leaner and leaner. I was watching yesterday from a, really kind of a New Orleans Saints perspective on who, like, from a receiver, and how you going to help Tyler Shuck. And a couple of receivers stuck out to me. Notre Dame receiver Malachi Fields, 6'4" guy, looked really smooth, made some really good plays. And he looked athletic. Big guys, you never know how they're going to look out of breaks, how they look into their turns. Looked really good. The USC receiver, Jacoby Lane, LSU's familiar with him, of course, from a couple of years ago. He's a little bit over 6'4". He looked good. On the American team, you had Malachi Fields at X, and you had Jacoby Lane at Z, so pretty good little tandem there. Then Texas Tech receiver, Caleb Douglas, just under 6'4". He looked good as well. He's on this national team, so I'm about to watch him practice right now. But there's also a receiver from John Carroll College. Didn't know that was a thing until yesterday. He kind of showed up, a great route runner, made a really good play down the field yesterday. Tyron Montgomery. And then defensive end, Zion Young from Missouri. I think he made himself some money yesterday in one-on-one pass rush. It'll be interesting to see how he keeps going. But there was a lot of standouts yesterday, a lot of really good plays. But, of course, today's a little bit more real football. We got the full pads on today.
Matt Flynn is joining us here from Mobile, checking out Senior Bowl practice. Good enough to step away and give us a little bit of time here on this Wednesday. That was always the favorite thing that Jake and T-Bob would get into, is to watching those guys, interviewing a few of them over the course of the week, and then seeing those guys get drafted and see where they end up in the NFL draft. I know that the Saints brass is there in full force. Ross Jackson's there for us at LouisianaSports.net. Like, is there any buzz? You just talked about receivers. Any other buzz positionally with New Orleans and what they may be looking for right now?
Yeah, man, we've talked a lot about, and there's so many holes to fill with the Saints.
Yeah.
Certainly, I'm not looking at running backs or anything. I think receiver is a big position. There's a lot of really good tight ends here. The emergence of more and more 12, 13 personnel in the NFL. I like these tight end group a lot from what I saw yesterday. But really, edge rusher, like I said, the Zion Young guy really stood out to me. Lee Hunter, defensive back from Texas Tech. The dude is an animal. Now, I don't know what kind of market he's gonna have to have or what round he's going to go in, but he's a big boy, and he was turning some heads yesterday in the pass rush drill. He's a big body guy that's going to command a double team, let your linebackers kind of work over the top. Caleb Barnes, defensive tackle from Florida, freak, just absolute statue of a man. So I can't wait to watch him today. And then there's this pass rush and defensive end from Duke. I have no idea if he's even on a draft board, but he popped to me yesterday, fast. And he might have the longest arms I've ever seen. Vincent Anthony, defensive end out of Duke. Don't know what his measurements are. I don't know what he's ranked, but my God, he's fast, and he could get around that edge yesterday.
So what do y'all got coming up tomorrow? I think it's y'all's last show from Mobile. Is it just kind of a deal where it's whoever lunge or ropes in, or do y'all have anything on the books for tomorrow?
Yeah, nothing on the books, and we really haven't had anything on the books. We'd like to get Aaron Anderson over, and another one of these quarterbacks. We're really trying to get Diego Pavia over the table. Guys have been elusive this week a little bit, but we've certainly had some good interviews so far. But, yeah, last day in Mobile tomorrow, but looking forward to getting more of these, getting some more insight, getting some more information in. Hopefully these LSU guys, especially the receivers, kind of can flash and make some plays and really show what they got. So that's what I'm looking forward to the most.
Y'all doing awesome work. Appreciate the hustle down there. Appreciate you stopping by. Y'all enjoy some football this afternoon and get home safe tomorrow.
Sounds good, buddy. We'll see y'all later.
Matt Flynn will be on the air tomorrow, 7 to 10 a.m. with Jay Castor there over at the Senior Bowl. It's just, they're football guys. Jake's a football guy. T-Bob's a football guy. Flynn's a football guy. I think I would like to go to a Senior Bowl practice. I don't know if I would want to go to 4 straight Senior Bowl practices. I would like to talk to the players, obviously, and do some radio content in that way, but you got to be a real, like, in-the-weeds football guy to get in there and watch some one-on-ones between Boston College's old right tackle and the John Carroll edge rusher that's trying to make a name for himself. Like, that's not exactly where my bread is buttered, But these guys love it. And so I'm thrilled that we get to send them and they can put that content out. I know that they had a great interview yesterday with Garrett Nussmeier. Talked to Barry Brown earlier today. They had Luke Altmaier, who played for Lane Kiffin. They talked to him on Monday, and that was awesome. So they're putting out great content for Mobile. If y'all have missed any of it, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Just search Off the Bench, and you'll certainly see it. Jake's doing a great job. So is Flynn and Alondra hustling down there as well. And then our guy Ross Jackson, LouisianaSports.net, got down there on Monday and has been churning out the Saints content. He's got a piece up on running backs, and he just texted the group that they're going to get Jeff Ireland later today. So that's the Saints GM. I realize, well, not GM, he's in charge of their oversees the drafting, but I realize that they're never going to give you names, they're never going to give you direct strategy for the offseason, but I do think there are some nuggets you can pull from those interviews, and I'm just curious if the Saints hint at any sort of shift based on the last month of their season. To me, it obviously would indicate a shift, but do they admit that tomorrow? We'll see. Curious to see what Ross has to say, and we'll certainly talk about it on tomorrow's show. All right, chugging towards the finish line here on this Wednesday. We'll talk some LSU, Mississippi State hoops. My thoughts on that game when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Lifetime Roofing, lifetimeroofingla.com is the website. Look, obviously, those of us in Baton Rouge appear to have kind of skirted significant damage from this winter event, but certainly those in the northern part and the central part of our state did not. Lifetime Roofing services the entire state of Louisiana. So if you're listening to us from Shreveport or Monroe or Alexandria and you may have an issue with your roof, you're not sure, you don't want to climb up there in an ice storm, we understand. The folks at Lifetime Roofing are happy to come by and just do an inspection. One of three things can happen. They can say, yeah, you're going to need a new roof. And they're happy to do that for you. They can say, hey, you've got a situation, we need a tune-up. And they can do that and fortify that roof. Maybe it's just a repair. You don't need a full new roof. Folks at Lifetime Roofing can do that as well. Certainly there may be no issue. I guess that would be the fourth outcome. You don't have to do anything at all, and that's great too. Folks at Lifetime Roofing will do right by you. They are certainly a Louisiana-based company that wants what's best for Louisiana. They're not going to come in here, just try to sign up as many people as they can for roofs after a weather event and then skip town. They're here for the long haul. They're here to help the community. So if you're in need of an inspection or just know that you need a new roof because you've certainly had damage, let the folks at Lifetime Roofing know by checking them out at lifetimeroofingla.com. They are so proud to offer a lifetime workmanship warranty. So when you're considering your options, and a lot of people get other options for roofing, understand that lifetime workmanship warranty might not come with that other option. It's Lifetime Roofing. You can find them online at lifetimeroofingla.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Tonight at 6 o'clock, LSU and Mississippi State from the Pete Maravich Assembly Center. Want to listen to that? You can on our sister station, Eagle 98.1. Chris Blair, John Brady courtside. Starting at 5:30 for pregame. I've got a preview up at LouisianaSports.net right now. I titled it, Tigers host Slipping State in must-win spot. Y'all know where I am. I don't do must-wins unless it's a must-win. This is. And I think LSU's going to win tonight because I don't think Mississippi State's very good, and I think LSU's decent. I do. And there are lots of you who will roll your eyes at that, and that is A-okay. But I'm just going based on what I've watched, and I'm watching the Mississippi State team that's lost 5 straight. They lost at Kentucky by 23. They lost to Alabama by 15. They lost to Ole Miss in Starkville by 1. They went to A&M and got beat by 20. Bandy beat them by 32. They have lost 5 games in a row by an average of 18.2 points per game. You add that to the fact that in the non-conference they lost to San Francisco, they lost to New Mexico, Kansas State beat them by 21. They also lost a game to SMU, who LSU handled in New Orleans. This is just not a very good Chris Jans Mississippi State team. He's had good teams. They've been built on defense, and they're not as good on defense. Their defensive efficiency this year is 193rd in the country. Vanderbilt scored a billion on them. They just don't play as good a defense. And their offense hasn't been any great shakes either. They're 192nd in the country in offensive efficiency. So 192 on offense, 193 on defense. What does that equal? Well, a team that's lost 5 games in a row and is 10-10 on the season. It's a team LSU should beat. If you play to the standard that you've played to the majority of the season, that does not include the first half against South Carolina, that does not include the first half against Prairie View, that does not include the first half against Texas Tech. But if you play to your standard, you will beat Mississippi State. There's a reason LSU is a 6-7 point favorite tonight, because State's not good and you're playing at home. So how could you lose this game to Mississippi State? Well, that's pretty easy to conjure up. Like, your defense has stunk all year. I told you on Monday how bad this team is on defense and how I thought that would be the death of it. And you've got a guy coming to the PMAC tonight who, like a bull, when a bull sees red, Josh Hubbard gets like that when he sees purple and gold. He has annihilated LSU for 2 years. I remember 2 years ago, NoLouisianaSports.net, I was going to basketball games as a fan then, just talking about them on the radio Monday through Friday. Now I go and cover games. But I didn't think I would get to go to the LSU-Mississippi State game. It was on a Saturday night because we were moving. I thought, well, my family's in town. We're trying to move from one house to the other. I probably won't be able to go to that game. And then all of a sudden, it's like a 7 o'clock game. At like 4, we kind of stopped moving stuff, and they're like, "Can we order sandwiches or something?" Like, people were pouring wine. I was like, "Are we done here?" And they were like, "Yeah." So I was like, "Well, can I go to the basketball game? Can me and my dad go to the basketball game?" And my wife was like, "Sure." So we went, and Josh Hubbard scored 30, and we lost because Josh Hubbard has scored 30 almost every time he's played LSU. 30 in that one, 26, 32, 24. In 4 games against LSU, Josh Hubbard is averaging 28 points per game. He has made 17 threes in 4 games against LSU. Just no answer for Josh Hubbard. Don't let him score 30 points tonight. How's that? Don't let him score 30. If Josh Hubbard scores 19 tonight, LSU is going to win the game. If he scores 35, you might be in trouble. So whether it's Deion Thomas guarding him or Rashad King guarding him, or you want to put McKinnon on him for a little more size, Hubbard's short. He's like 5'10". But he's got great lift, and he can knock down shots. He's averaging 21 points per game. He's an 80% free throw shooter. He hadn't been great from 3, but he shoots a lot of them. And if he gets hot, he could be trouble. So let's try to avoid Hubbard going nuts for the first time in 5 efforts against this guy. Beyond that, you got to shoot the basketball a little bit better. And Deion Thomas has got to be a part of that. You look at the way LSU has shot it in the last 2 games. Last week, well, it was terrible. You were 6 of 26 from deep. That's 23%. I realize LSU doesn't lean on the 3-ball a lot. They lean on the pick and roll to get Deion Thomas around the rim, and they lean on lobs. And if McKinnon's not shooting threes, then you really don't shoot a lot of threes. Sutton drives to the rim. Nwoku is a high percentage shooter around the rim. You're going to get driving from Thomas, driving from King. You don't rely on a lot of threes, but you've got to make a better percentage of them. And McKinnon needs to shoot the ball a little bit more. Now, State's probably not going to beat you badly on the 3-point line unless Hubbard does it. Like we talked about the Arkansas game, LSU shot very, very poorly from 3. I think they were 3 for 15. Arkansas made 10 of them. That's 21 points you've given up from the 3-point line in your difference. Mississippi State is 21% from 3 over the last 3 games. But LSU's defense has been an elixir for that. You're 223rd in the country in 3-point defense. So you're bad at that. Don't let them go nuts. I thought Deion Thomas hit a bit of a rhythm in the second half against Arkansas. I thought he was going bucket for bucket with Acuff, creating them and scoring them himself. So he's upped that minute total. He was only 16 in Gainesville, up that to 31 in Fayetteville. He's ready to go tonight. I would imagine he's probably good for 34, 35 minutes tonight. And you need him for that. You need him out on the floor. He's got to get his assist total up. That's what LSU needs from him. He's only got 8 in the 47 minutes since he returned. And he's a better assist guy than that. That's not a terrible number, but he's a little bit better than that. And Nwoku can get involved with him, and King can get involved with him, and McKinnon can get involved with him. He's got to take over. It's a bad Mississippi State defense. You're at home. He needs to be in complete control of this game. We talked about how big a deal it was Deion Thomas wasn't available for LSU's 1-5 start. He's ready now. So if we're going to tell you it's an important thing when he goes out, when he comes back, he needs to make it important. And I think he will. I think LSU's going to be fine tonight. I think LSU is going to go out. I think they're going to throw an early punch. I don't think Mississippi State's going to make 10 threes in the first half like some of these teams have. I don't think Mississippi State's going to score 85 or 90 points on LSU. And I think, like the Missouri game, LSU is going to get in front and hold a lead and win the game by 8 or 10 points. I don't think LSU's quit, and I don't think they're playing terrible basketball. I think they put themselves in a terrible, terrible spot. And I believe it will cost them a chance to make the NCAA tournament. I believe they will come up a game or two short. But right now, your net number is good. Your efficiency numbers are good. And you've got 3 games coming up. Home Mississippi State, at South Carolina, home Georgia that are winnable. I told you 2 weeks ago, you need to win one this week, probably 2, because you're not going to win any the next week. And you went 1-1. Told you were going to lose 2 last week. You did. And I'm telling you, you better win both games this week. You do that, you change the juju a little bit, you give a deep breath, you're probably on Lenardi's bubble, and you can take a step forward. It's on the table. This team is not awful. I've seen bad basketball. I've seen awful basketball. This team's bad on defense, good on offense. This team played with Texas A&M. This team played with Kentucky. This team played with Arkansas. This team beat Missouri. This team beat SMU. They're not terrible, but you've got no margin for error. Right now, you are 1-6 in the league. You have to finish at least 8-10. That's 7-4. 7-4. All of a sudden, if you win today and Saturday, then it's 5-4. 5-4 is doable. You split this week, and you've got to go 8-3? No. You lose both this week, and you got to go 9-2? Forget it. Just forget it. But you got to win them both this week. It's got to start tonight in the PMAC against a bad Mississippi State team. Chris Jans has a bad team. Guard Josh Hubbard on the three-point line. Hold him to 19 points. Get to the free throw line yourself. Dish some assists out for De'Don Thomas, and get out of here with a win. Win by 1 point, win by 12 points, win by 22 points. Whatever. Just win one game. Those are my thoughts on LSU tonight in the Maravich Center against Mississippi State. Again, 6 o'clock tip-off. You can find it on our sister station, Eagle 98.1, pregame at 5:30 from Chris Blair and John Brady. All right, when we come back, we hit a grab bag of topics, one in the NFL, one with LSU. There's a couple things I want to hit on in our final segment before take it or leave it, so we'll come back and do that next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, Highway 61 in St. Francisville, now under new ownership. It's the Fabry family. You know them. 35 years in business here in Baton Rouge. 3 locations, 5 brands. Now so proud to have that Chevrolet GMC point in St. Francisville on Highway 61. Huge inventory, and they are wide open. I know the weather hasn't been great, and the further north you go, the worse it gets. They are wide open. Go see them if you're looking for a new vehicle. Whether it's a Chevy Suburban, Chevy Tahoe, maybe a Silverado, looking for a truck, they got them. GNC, they got your Yukons, your Denali's. They got the Sierras as well. Go by and see them. Highway 61 in St. Francisville. You're going to get great customer service because it's the Fabry family. You're going to get great buying experience. It's the Fabry family. You'll have great service after the sale because it's the Fabry family who's been doing it for almost 4 decades here in the capital city. Make that short drive to St. Francisville or check them out at FabryChevrolet.com. FabryChevrolet.com.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Love telling you about our friends at Marucci. Hitter's House. Great spot to go take some hacks over there at Marucci. But it's also a great place to take a tour. Well, what am I taking a tour of? Well, you take a tour of the place where the official bat of Major League Baseball is made every single day. They're making about 1,200 of them. It's a great, great thing to go see, especially if you got a youth baseball team, youth softball team, maybe a class, want to take a field trip. Awesome place to go check out at Marucci. It's a gym here in Baton Rouge. Just kind of found it on a whim in a backyard shed. Now, like I mentioned, 1,200 bats a day are made. It's the official bat of Major League Baseball. They send these things around the world to the best of the best, and they come from right here in the capital city. So go to MarucciSports.com and click on Campus Tour. Book that tour. Get you a discount in the Hitter's House as well. Gym here in Baton Rouge at Marucci. Take a tour. Visit the Hitter's House. Take some swings. See the official bat of Major League Baseball. It's there at Marucci, online at MarucciSports.com. So, some news today from LSU baseball. I try to be cognizant of the fact this is a radio show. It has a YouTube element that we're really proud of, and we appreciate very much those of you who come to YouTube to check us out. But I try not to cater too much to YouTube because you completely eliminate the listening folks if you do that. And this does it a little bit, but I'll try to make it as radio-friendly as possible. Baseball put the new Intimidator up today, and it looks absolutely awesome. It has the same tiger coming off of the right side as you look at it, and it's got the same font for national champions and the little LSU logo. So that part hasn't changed. The thing that's so awesome about the new version of the Intimidator, and y'all will see it when you go out there for opening day in a couple of weeks, the 8 championships are so symmetrically aligned that it just looks really good. When there were 5, they were just in a straight line, and then you go to 6, and they were in a straight line, and then you went to 7, and then it kind of gets a little bit jumbled. It's great to have 7. I prefer 7 to 6. Then you go to 8, and they stack them 4 to a row. It just looks awesome. And might I say, having an Intimidator with 2 very new paint jobs on it, 2023 and 2025, looks a lot more intimidating in 2026 than back in like 2021 when you had to go back to 09 to find the most recent. So I love it. I think it's awesome. They don't try to get too creative or too crazy with it. They keep it essentially the same as it has always been, but it just looks great this time around with a symmetrical look. Now, trust me, I will void all symmetrical feelings if they can add a 9th championship this year, and then you got to go to 5 and 4, whatever you got to do, because you don't have an even number. I'll be just fine with that. But for this year, until they get that next one, which I hope is very, very soon, I think it looks really awesome over there at the box. So that's a very, very cool thing that they've got working. New Intimidator has been put up. I saw this on our 104.5 ESPN's Twitter as well. Garrett Nussmeier, some really encouraging stuff from the Senior Bowl yesterday. They had these, no way to say this without being a meme, but they had ball metric leaders for the quarterbacks in day one. So they measure a lot of what you were doing with the football. And Garrett Nussmeier led the day with the longest air distance pass. He threw it 51.5 yards. He also led the day with the fastest initial airspeed, 74.9 miles an hour coming out of his hand. Look, this is overanalyzation season. This is looking at 40 times and looking at shuttle runs and looking at cone drills and looking at all this kind of stuff. And everything's overanalyzed because we play our last college football game now middle of January, towards the end of January. But most people finish their football season at around New Year's Day. And then you've got 3.5 months to analyze everybody before the draft. So you get into the nitty-gritty, you get into the minutia, you get into all that kind of stuff, and people will probably overanalyze it. Hand measurements, the whole thing. But I would submit that for a quarterback who spent the majority of the fall unable to rip it down the field, unable to hit the deep ball, unable to use the arm strength and the arm talent that allowed him to throw for 4,000 yards last year, to go out on the first day of the Senior Bowl and throw the ball the farthest and the hardest of any of the quarterbacks there, that's got to be at least eye-opening to some NFL executives that are there and paying attention. Now, you got to throw it accurately. You got to throw it in the right place. You got to make the reads. You got to take hits. You got to lead your team. There's a lot more that goes into playing quarterback than throwing it far and throwing it hard, right? But Nussmeier's never going to be a draft pick or a starting quarterback in the NFL based on his raw athleticism, based on his foot speed, based on his ability to test defenses on the edges. He's going to be a draft pick and a potential NFL quarterback based on how well he throws it. And we know that at his best, he can really throw it. And he wasn't at his best in the fall. So for him to get this opportunity this week to go to the Senior Bowl and try to show NFL teams, hey, I'm not what I was in September. I'm not what I was in October or November. This is what I am. This is what I was a year and a half ago. I think that's awesome for Garrett. So for him to have the longest ball down the field and the fastest velocity coming out of the hand, I'm encouraged for him. As I mentioned yesterday, I'm pulling for him. I want the best for him because that's a guy who chose to come to LSU, chose to stick it out, chose to be the Fighting Tigers quarterback, chose to come back to do that again, and just didn't end the way that he would have wanted. But I thought he handled himself incredibly well, and I'm hopeful this week is a big one for him. Like I said Monday, you got to impress one guy, one team. You don't have to, all 32 teams don't have to convince that you're the guy. Just one. And hopefully this is a step in that direction for Garrett Nussmeier from Mobile. So last thing in the grab bag, I had Intimidator, had Garrett Nussmeier. I got to mention Belichick here. I realize it's probably a take it or leave it situation, but it probably deserves a little bit more merit than that in a conversation here for 3 or 4 minutes. I want to say this. This is not a take I've seen. I understand where these fuddy-duddies are coming from. I understand what they think. I understand why they did what they did. You got to protect the shield. This guy might have cheated. You got to penalize him for it. Just the first ballot. He'll eventually get in. I understand it all. And it's stupid. It's stupid. Now, you're listening to somebody who unequivocally thinks that Pete Rose and Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame in baseball. So you understand where I'm coming from. I think that a misstep here or there can be overlooked when you're talking about some of the all-time greats. And Pete Rose is an all-time great. And Barry Bonds is an all-time great. And this just in, Bill Belichick, all-time great. And I don't know where he set up the cameras. I don't know what he did with the PSIs of the footballs. I don't know. I know that he won the division 473 years in a row, played in the Super Bowl 213 times, and won 100 of them. So he's a Hall of Famer. And I don't know if the Bill Polian stuff is true or not. I don't really care. I do wish that they would publicize the ballots like they do in football. I think that if you cast a vote, that you should have to answer for that vote, right or wrong. But these self-important people who feel the need to be a gatekeeper in a way that is overbearing are ridiculous. Like, if you want to keep somebody out because they flagrantly cheated and it was a direct result of everything, like, I don't know exactly what happened with Lance Armstrong, but you want to tell me that everything he did was based on some improprieties? I can get on board with that. If you want to tell me that Bill Belichick's career was built on cheating, then you're an idiot. Like, I don't have any time for you. Now, Tom Brady had a lot to do with it, but part of that's Bill Belichick too. And I know that things didn't go well when Brady left, and then Brady immediately won a Super Bowl, and that doesn't help Belichick's case. But if your point here is you got to protect the shield, can't let Bill Belichick in the Hall of Fame, dude, I don't have a lot of time for it. It's just ridiculous. Pete Rose was a great hitter before he gambled on baseball, and it didn't impact his playing career at all. Hall of Famer. And Barry Bonds is the best hitter I've ever seen. Now, that's a more complex issue because he hit a lot of home runs after he was sticking a needle. But Bill Belichick, to keep him out over these little things, I don't have any time for it. I think it's absurd. And I think it just makes you look silly to do that. Like, the people that didn't vote for him today are probably puffing their chest out, probably being defensive about how they feel like they're in the right because of the things that he did that they felt were wrong. You just look silly. And if you look at the entire internet, it looks silly to do that. So they'll let him in next year. I'm hopeful that we get some answers as to who determined he wasn't supposed to be in, but it's just ridiculous.
I think it opens the question, opens the Pandora box. So what happens with Sean Payton? I mean,
Well, those people won't vote for
I'm
him.
about to say, like, the bounty gate is on his resume regardless, so I don't want to hear nothing else about this. Well, then don't let him in either.
Shouldn't have let Drew Brees in. If Drew Brees was on that team, I mean, you got everybody. He was in the locker room. He could have told the NFL.
Yeah, he could have been a snitch.
Absolutely, should have protect the shield.
Should have protected the shield, and it just goes to show you. That these people are power tripping 24/7. This is one of the biggest power trips I've seen in a long time. It would have been different if Belichick had, some off the field stuff where it's like, is he really the best guy? But then you see guys with off the field stuff in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. So what if you faked an injury to stop the clock out of the Hall of Fame?
No. Apparently.
What if you sold a catch that you knew you didn't catch?
No.
I realize I'm using hyperbole here.
Yeah.
But where's the line? As long as sports have been going on, people have tried to gain advantages.
Yes.
I don't know exactly what Bill Belichick did in Spygate. I don't know what Deflategate even was. May have been a complete crock. But, the man won 7 Super Bowls.
Well, he won 6 with the Patriots. I think he won 2 before that.
So 8 all time, 6 with the Patriots. 6-time Super Bowl winning head coach.
Yes.
Videos and practices. All right. I've had enough.
It's disgusting, and
You think you're being serious? I'm not taking you seriously. If that's your vote, you flipped it on yourself.
It just goes to show you, man, that maybe we shouldn't put so much stock into the whole voting process, because you get situations like this where you're talking the greatest coach of all time is not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Just because a couple people feel some type of way because you deflated some footballs back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe. Allegedly. That's where we at with it, Hunt.
Deflated football. Who cares?
Right,
Come back and close it out next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com. Jonathan Carbo and his team, they're happy to help you. Comes to commercial insurance, you need to know what your policy says. This week is a great reminder of that. Hopefully nothing is wrong with your business, but what if there's a storm and power lines go down and you can't work? Employees can't get into work. You can't produce. Do you have the right business interruption coverage? Do you have the right business interruption limits? Tree falls on the roof. Do you know that your building is valuated properly, or might you incur some co-insurance penalties that you don't know about? Times like these are when insurance is important. I know that most folks think that they'll never use it, and you just look at the premium, and that's the way that a lot of folks handle things. But if you're a business owner that hopefully made it through this without any issues, but thinking, man, that could happen, am I covered for that? Do I have coverage if the power goes out off premises? I don't know. I just know what I pay. Contact the Howard Insurance Group. They'll help you. They'll put a second set of eyeballs on it. They'll walk you through your property policy, your EPL policy, your cyber policy, crime policy. Make sure your workers' comp employees are categorized properly. That's what they do. They're experts in the coverage aspect. They know premium is important. They're going to make sure that they shop your policy to know that you're placed in the right place at the right price. But the coverage in times like this is completely vital, and the Highland Insurance Group will take care of you in that way. Check them out online at HighlandIG.com, HighlandIG.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
LSU baseball sent out its scrimmage schedule for the weekend to come. Still going to be a little chilly out there, but LSU baseball planning on getting out there and getting some work done. Starts tomorrow, 2:30 p.m., 3 o'clock on Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday, 1 o'clock out there at the box. So if you're looking to get a look at the Tigers, want to do so on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, you can do so in the afternoon hours. Hopefully decent weather this weekend, and the Tigers can get out there and get some work done. I actually checked the extended forecast for a week and a half down the road. And it looks like highs in the 60s a lot of next week. So Jay Johnson and his group, Beth Torina and her group should get some good work outside before the season opener. Softball starts a week early, so they're at it next Friday. LSU the following Friday, opening day out at the box. So LSU baseball scrimmaging over the next 4 days. Let's finish it up with some Take It or Leave It.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
Just take it.
All right, former U-High Cub Patrick Reed has withdrawn from Live Golf effective immediately and will return to the PGA Tour under his champion status later in 2025. Is Live dying? Take it or leave it?
I will take it.
I knew you was going to take that. You had no choice.
You've seen Brooks Koepka leave. You've seen Patrick Reed leave. They're all aware it's a sinking ship. It's a joke. It's a disaster. It took longer than I wanted, and there are some guys that will go down with the ship. Dustin Johnson will go down with the ship. Cam Smith will go down with the ship. The old guys that can't come back, all those guys that went over there at the end of their career, those guys will go down with the ship. But you're talking about a tour that is not long for it. Hopefully some of these other guys come to their senses and come back to the PGA Tour where the fields should be at full strength, and I don't have to deal with this complete garbage anymore, which is split golf in half for 3 years. It was a long time coming. Everyone knew it was a joke the entire time. It's now being shown to be a joke, and it will no longer exist here in the near future.
Do you have like the next biggest domino that could flip sides over to the PGA?
So they put together some rules and parameters to come back.
Okay.
And you've got to do a few things and jump through a few hoops. I don't know who's going to be back. No, I can tell you Dustin Johnson has no interest in doing all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Cam Smith won't do any of that stuff either because he just wants to go fishing and play golf on the side. And if he beats some of these terrible players, he can do it. The guys who have screwed up are like Joaquin Neiman and Tyrrell Hatton and John Rahm. And Rahm knows it's a joke, but he's got another year on his contract. So if he can find a way, the PGA Tour is now motivated. They see blood in the water.
Yeah.
So they're going to go to their players that are there that didn't take the cash and say, okay, we need to get these guys back to get the best fields we can get to ramp things back up. I know that they're going to take some money and come back. We're going to penalize them financially, but Rahm will come back eventually because he hates Live. And the other two guys, maybe, we'll see. But it will happen. They're getting guys that no one's ever heard of to go play out there, and no one's watching.
That's
so
bad.
I think that Rahm is the next guy the PGA Tour will look to get back.
Okay.
But we'll see.
Okay, so projected South Carolina ace Jake
Bryson, too.
Okay. Projected South Carolina ace Jake McCoy will have surgery and miss the 2026 season. This will be Paul Maneri's last season coaching. Take it or leave it.
That I'm more confident in than Live Golf.
I'll take it.
Paul Maneri
take it.
this is going to be it. I think the South Carolina was going to be bad with Jake McCoy as their Friday night starter.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be terrible now without Jake McCoy. This is obviously Paul's second year at South Carolina, and it's the second year in January his ace has gone down for the year.
Ooh,
That's a hard way to make a living. They just don't have a lot of talent, and he was clearly their number one option as a pitcher, and he was getting some first-round looks for this coming draft. So, yeah, I'm pulling for Coach. He's always been great to me. I thought he did a great job at LSU. And I'm pulling for him when he doesn't play against LSU, but I can look at it objectively. That team's not good enough, and they're going to struggle this year.
Okay, so with the NBA trade deadline coming up on February 5th, two-time MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo has made it known today that he would like to be traded from the Milwaukee Bucks. So, I mean, we're talking a two-time MVP trying to be on the move. So will this move shake up the NBA? Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. He can still play. It sounds like, based on what old Wendy has to say, that the Warriors are the team to beat there.
They need it. They need him bad.
They can spread the floor a little bit. And the question is, can Giannis take control of that? Yeah, I think that would be a cool thing to see him and Steph for a little bit.
It would be crazy.
Trade Zion for him.
I mean, you got to see. There needs to be a want for you to have a trade. Like they gotta have to
you can't
want
just hit the button like
it's not 2K.
Nintendo.
Yeah, I can't just trade him and I get
the trade.
Yeah, here's Giannis back. Like, oh, thank you very much. Like, all right, So we already know what Bill Belichick has going on with not getting into the Hall of Fame. Well, Tom Brady spoke out today on a Seattle sports podcast, and his response to the situation was, and I quote, "I don't understand it, in that no coach should be selected to the Hall of Fame first ballot if Bill Belichick cannot get in." So, to Tom Brady defend his, Right defender his old coach. Take it or leave it.
Take it. I think they had a little bit of a tough breakup there. That's a lot of ego and a lot of accomplishment in one room. But greatness understands greatness, and Brady's great, Belichick's great, and it's just it makes the league look silly to leave Bill Belichick out of the Hall of Fame in the first ballot. It's just what it is.
So that's it for Take It or Leave It.
All right. If you missed any of the show today, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Just search Hunt Palmer Show. Like, subscribe, rate, and review. Our LSU content can be found at Hunt on LSU. Saints content, Hunt on Saints. Our Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. We'll be back tomorrow. Looking forward to it. We'll go down to the Senior Bowl chat with Luke Johnson and a recap of LSU and Mississippi State on the hardwood tonight. Matt's about to drive you home next one after further review. Have a great Wednesday. We're back tomorrow.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First American Bank and Trust. First American Bank and Trust. Started up in 1910. That was a minute ago. They've been trucking along ever since, 116 years in business. If you're looking for a personal loan, looking for a commercial loan, First American Bank and Trust needs to be your first phone call. Why? Because they've been in our community for 116 years, and every branch, all 25 of them, are in Southeast Louisiana. So you're dealing with people who are in your community. Every decision that First American Bank and Trust makes is made in Southeast Louisiana. Every time you make a phone call to First American Bank and Trust, your call is run through Southeast Louisiana. You're not calling Atlanta. You're not calling Seattle. You're not calling Chicago. You're calling a community member at First American Bank and Trust. No matter if you're in St. Tammany, Tangipahoa, down in Lafourche, Terrebonne, or Hammond, no matter where you are, there's a local branch near you. 25 of them. First American Bank and Trust.